Welcome. NFL fans, Cowboy fans, Cowboy haters alike. I'm the G, and I'm the host of Let's Talk Cowboys, where we talk facts. And so we are going to begin our coverage of the NFL playoffs. A lot of good games coming up over the next couple of days. Unfortunately, our team, my team, the Dallas Cowboys, are not there. But nevertheless, we're going to still continue to talk about football. We got, 3-4 weeks left? So we might as well enjoy it since our team is not there. Not going to be haters. I know some Cowboys fans will be rooting against some of the NFC teams today. Me personally, I'm not really into rooting for teams to lose. It just is what it is. We didn't make it. And so we will be looking at some matchups today, and we'll be starting with the early game. Man, it's a lot of good stuff going on. Chargers and the Texans. Steelers and the Ravens. A lot of good storylines I'm going to be talking about today. Denver versus Buffalo Sunday. That'll be the first playoff game on Sunday. And then we'll have Green Bay, Philly, Washington, Tampa Bay. Then we'll have Minnesota, Los Angeles. So, man, it is going to be a great weekend of football. It'd be fantastic if the Cowboys was in it, but I digress. What's going on, Lord Nova? We about to get started. Whether it be 10,000 or 10 people, we're going to talk some football. And we'll probably talk some Cowboy news if we have time. I plan on getting off here around 3:15, 3:20. We have time. I may drop some Cowboys nuggets. But we are actually going to get right into it. I'm telling you before we get started, the NFL needs the Dallas Cowboys to be successful. People may not be realizing it, but the NFL ratings were down this year. And I'm very interested to see what the playoffs look like. And the NFL ratings were down. I mean, people may not realize it, but I think the honest truth is that the Dallas Cowboys are a huge part of the NFL news cycle. And Dak Prescott, whether people love him, like him, or hate him, Dak Prescott is one of the most polarizing football players in the NFL today. He is one of the most talked about football players. He's one of the most popular football players. Dak Prescott really contributes a lot to this NFL. And I don't find it to be strange that two things happened this year and the NFL ratings are down. Could be totally unrelated, but I don't think it's unrelated. Then I'm going to get right into these playoffs. But I'm saying this because of the playoffs. Dak Prescott got hurt. There was nothing to talk about. Hardly for any of these. I mean, there was hardly nothing to talk about for any of these news cycles. You know, the 3 or 4 letter networks. Cowboys were never in the playoffs. I mean, people were trying to beef it up like we were in the run, but we were never in the run. And so those two things, I think, contributed. And I think the NFL needs the Cowboys to be successful in 2025 and 2026. It's going to be tough in 2025, but I do think we win the chip in 2026. I've been saying it. What's going on, Lord Nova 85? What's going on, LaQueen? So let's get into this first game. So the way I'm going to pick games this year, because I don't really have a dog in the fight or a horse in the race. So the way I'm going to pick these games is head and heart. Head is going to be based on the evidence, based on the stats, the facts of what we've seen from the two teams, of who I think is going to win. But then my heart pick is going to be based upon, may not be as much factual, but because of this team is good enough that it could beat the other team. So I'm going head and heart today. So let's look at this game between the Los Angeles Chargers and the Houston Texans. So when we look at this game today, this is going to be a very strange game. And it's funny to me, I'm looking at some of these matchups because Dak Prescott has 2 playoff wins. And the reason why I'm bringing up Dak Prescott is I feel like the Dallas Cowboys, it's like every time they go to the playoffs, the matchups are bad. But when I look in the playoffs this year, of the quarterbacks that I feel like has the most to prove, there are 4 quarterbacks that I think have a lot to prove. One is Justin Herbert. Justin Herbert has a lot to prove because people don't realize something. People brag on Justin Herbert just based on potential. Justin Herbert has done absolutely nothing. Nothing. He's lost in the playoffs. He's been injured. All these different things. But every time you hear people talk about Justin Herbert, it's not about what he's done. It's about what he can do. Oh, he can run. Oh, he can throw. Oh, he's the prototypical blah, blah, blah. Yeah, Justin Herbert has done absolutely nothing. Nothing. And now he has an opportunity. And I'm telling you, it's crazy to me because the matchup that he has really is favorable. The matchup is favorable. We're talking about the Houston Texans. What's going on, Roberta? I mean, we're literally talking about the Houston Texans. C.J. Stroud is in his sophomore slump. And I don't even know if C.J. Stroud is necessarily having a sophomore slump as much as C.J. Stroud is suffering from some of the same things that happened to Dak Prescott after his sensational rookie season. Well, it's a battle of attrition. You lose players. Players get hurt. The team doesn't look the same. The team doesn't look the same the way it did in your rookie season. I mean, you think about what happened to Dak, Travis Frederick. I'm telling you, the Dallas Cowboys franchise was never the same after Travis Frederick. They still haven't recovered. He was an anchor point of the line. He was an anchor point of the offensive line and an anchor for the offense and an anchor. He was a leader on the team. It has never recovered. You just don't recover from guys like Travis Frederick. I mean, Travis Frederick was a generational player. And so when you think about C.J. Stroud has lost some players, and the Houston Texans aren't quite looking right. They're not quite looking right. I mean, it is absolutely crazy. People have actually been talking about letting go of the coach. That's how this league is. This is how this league is. They'll build you up. This is why I tell people, don't let folks build you up, because they build you up to tear you down. And they're already ready to throw away. They're already ready to throw away the Houston Texans coach. Lewis says, don't nobody care about Justin Herbert because his name is not Dak Prescott. Justin Herbert has done nothing. You're exactly right, Lewis Bailey. I'm telling you, it is astounding to me when you think about how they brag on Justin Herbert. I mean, they brag on Justin Herbert on levels that are insane. But the thing is today, Lewis, he has the ideal matchup. He's going against the Houston Texans. And the Houston Texans, they're not quite looking right. I mean, the Houston Texans literally limped into the playoffs. Whether anybody realized it or not, they limped into the playoffs. It's not like they came in this thing like gangbusters, tearing it up. No, they limped in. They limped in. When you look at this at a glance, let's kind of look at them. So the Chargers and the Texans. The Chargers, they scored 24 points a game. The Texans scored 22 points a game, basically. They're both 11th and 19th, respectively. Point differential, one's 8th, one's 16th. Record in close games, 4-4, 7-5. So if it's a close game, it's going to favor the Texans. Average margin of victory, 8.2 points versus 13.8 points. So basically, when the Chargers are on, they're on. When they're on, they're on. Turnover differential, they are third. The Chargers are third, and the Texans are ninth. Total penalties, 5th versus 26th. So that's some of the things you're watching with the Chargers. It's the Harbaugh effect. He's bringing in a lot more discipline. He's an old school type of coach. He wants to run the ball. He wants to control the line of scrimmage. I mean, he wants to take the ball out of Justin Herbert's hands as much as possible and only allow him to be Superman when absolutely needed. So some of the things that you are seeing from the Chargers is the Harbaugh effect, but we're gonna see just how much will it happen. And so I want to look at a couple other things. You think about this. CJ Stroud is kind of like the Cowboys right now. He's kind of like Dak. He's kind of got like one wide receiver. When you look at the passing efficiency, though, he's number 5. Overall passing efficiency, number 5. Chargers offense, number 11. I'm sorry. Overall passing efficiency, number 11. So, I'm sorry. The Chargers have the advantage because C.J. Stroud, again, he's missing some weapons. And I tell you this, Dalton Schultz was running around in Dallas talking about he should have been the top paid tight end in the league. And, man, he drops quite a few passes. I've watched Dalton Schultz this year literally drop passes and let down C.J. Stroud. What's going on, Andre? Chargers versus the Rams in the Super Bowl. Oh, that would be crazy, wouldn't it? Yeah, that would be crazy right there. Probably not going to happen, but that would be crazy. But the Texans defense, let me tell you something. I've watched the Texans defense this year. They're pretty doggone good. Their defensive rank is number 5. I'm very interested to see what does Herbert look like against this defense. The overall rushing efficiency. The Texans defense is number 6. Pressure rate, they're number 2. The Texans got a pretty good defense. They have a pretty good defense. So when you look at the Texans defense versus the Chargers offense, all of the advantages go to the Houston Texans. All of the advantages go to the Houston Texans. So it won't be a surprise. It will not be a surprise if the Texans render Justin Herbert pretty much useless today. But if you look on the other side, it's the same instance. So you got the Texans, their overall pass efficiency is 22. Their rushing offense is 20. Their pressure rate, number 28. The Chargers defense, number 6. Overall rushing efficiency, passing efficiency is number 6. Rushing efficiency, number 13. Pass pressure rate, number 14. So in that area, the Chargers. So what we could be watching today between the Chargers and the Texans is we're probably going to be seeing a game that I believe, and let me kind of put a score. I think we're probably going to be looking at a 2017. I think we might. I will not be surprised if we're looking at something like a 2017, 17-13. I mean, because it looks like it's going to be a defensive battle between these two teams. It looks like it's going to be a defensive battle because in actuality, y'all think about it. The Chargers actually went and got Ezekiel Elliott. I mean, they went and got Ezekiel Elliott as one of their emergency running backs. So that lets you know what their running game is. But when it comes to the Texans, I do like Joe Mixon. Joe Mixon is very versatile. But this is going to be a very, I will not be surprised if this is a very hard-fought defensive game. And for me, for me, I think the Chargers have a little bit more. I think the Chargers have a little bit more on offense. They have a little bit more on offense than the Houston Texans. So with my head, I'm looking at the Chargers may beat the Texans at home today. If I'm just looking at this with my brain and what I'm seeing statistically. But if you call me to the carpet with my heart, I see the Houston Texans winning. I could see the Houston Texans getting past the Chargers, and either way, one of these teams, I don't see either one of these teams scoring more than 24, and I am not going to be surprised if this is going to be like a 2017 game today. 20-17, somewhere in there. Y'all tell me your thoughts. But I think today, with my head, the Chargers. With my heart, the Texans. That's where I am today on this game. But I am telling you, I really want to see what in the world is Justin Herbert going to do today? What is he going to do? Because I'm telling you, man, this dude is so hyped up. It is literally insanity how hard he is. I mean, how hyped up he is. Let's look at some more key advantages. I mean, so let's look at designed runs. The Chargers are number 19. But look at the Texans. The Texans are very good against the run. They are very good against the run. Rushing versus light box, they're number 9. The Texans, I'm telling y'all, they are very good on defense. Quarterback scrambles, they're number 27. So in other words, if Justin Herbert kind of gets outside of the pocket, so I'm pretty sure the Texans are saying, hey, we got to make sure we contain him. They're number 7. Herbert does some damage when he gets outside of the pocket sometimes. The pressure rate, again, for the Texans, they're number 2. Rushing versus stacked boxes. The Chargers do pretty good against stacked boxes. The Texans defense using stacked boxes, they're number 30. But the advantage defensively on this side of the ball, I mean, the Texans, man, they are pretty doggone good. And then we got the passing game. Again, short passing. The Texans offense, number 24. I'm telling y'all, the Texans offense has been very deficient. It's been pretty bad down the stretch here. Short passing, number 24. Chargers, number 5. Rushing versus light box, they're number 25. Passing versus no pressure, number 21. Rushing in the red zone, number 29. Overall passing efficiency, number 22. Man, it is going to be tough trading today for the Houston Texans, I believe, offensively. When you look at the Chargers defense, they're number 5 short passing. Light box, number 4. Passing no pressure, number 4. I mean, they can get to the quarterback without necessarily probably having to rush the ball. Rushing the quarterback, as in blitzing. Rushing in the red zone, they're number 9. Overall passing efficiency, they're number 6. They are this matchup with what the Houston Texans have offensively. It's going to be tough. It is going to be a very, very tough matchup for the Houston Texans. So I'm very interested to see, I mean, what are they going to do? Because when you look at the Texans offense versus the Chargers, when you look at the Texans offense versus the Chargers, for example, you see where the Texans where the Chargers have all of the advantages. All of the advantages when you look at a lot of these things. I mean, long pass. I mean, just look at the Houston Texans. I mean, long passing, they're number 23. Passing versus play action. I mean, they have a lot of deficiencies. And some of this has to do with personnel. And so this is going to be a very, very tough game. A very, very tough game for the Houston Texans offensively, but their defense, I believe their defense will keep the game close. Their defense will keep the game close. This is what I'm seeing. Let me read some comments here again. Andre Moses said Justin Herbert will have a great game. Hey, man, I'm going to tell you something. We're going to see. Hey, one of the biggest storylines of this game to me is Justin Herbert. It's Justin Herbert. CJ Stroud, to me, nothing to prove. Sophomore slump, everybody will write it off. Hey, on to the next season. He's had some injuries also on the offensive side of the ball, and we're not really tripping on CJ Stroud. But Justin Herbert has everything to prove. Justin Herbert has everything to prove and everything to lose, in my opinion. Because if Justin Herbert don't win this year, he's got Harbaugh. Don't win this year, okay? On to the next year. Let's see what he does. Will it be Harbaugh's fault if he don't win again? So this thing with Justin Herbert, it is a big deal. This is the biggest storyline of this game for me. What is Justin Herbert going to do? What is he going to do? And he will not, from everything I'm seeing today or hearing, he will not have his potent running game. We're going to see how that goes. And for everybody who was so elated about Ezekiel Elliott going to the Chargers, I'm not even sure. I think he's still on the practice squad. I think what Harbaugh got him for is if they get past the Houston Texans. So if they get past the Houston Texans, I mean, you won't even see Zeke. Roberto said, I'm praying the Texans will win. Of course, I'm partial due to C.J. Stroud, and he did come out of Ohio State, my college team. Oh, man. Boy, hey, Roberta, I told y'all early in the season, everybody's been talking about Ashton Jeanty. I said it early in the season, man. People talk about Ashton Jeanty all they want to. Man, these running backs from Ohio State, that number 2 reminded me of Ezekiel Elliott when he was at Ohio State. Man, the Cowboys, if I'm the Cowboys, this draft is loaded with running backs. If I'm the Cowboys at number 12, I'm just telling y'all what my first pick is. If Abdul Carter is not there, if the wide receiver, I think it's from Arizona, is not there, my first pick for the Cowboys is I'm trading back. I think the Cowboys, they can get the running backs or one of the running backs from Ohio State, in particular number 2. I think they can get him in the later round of the first round. I do. I think they can get him further back in the first round. I'm telling us Cowboy fans, do not get your hopes up on Ashton Jeanty. I don't think Jeanty's going to make it to the Cowboys. If Abdul Carter's on the board, I don't think he's going to make it to the Cowboys either. Abdul Carter put on an absolute show. I mean, he's like a bigger Micah Parsons. Abdul Carter, I do not believe will be on the board by the time the Cowboys get there. I do not believe he'll be on the board. But I digress. The Cowboys should go and get the running back from Ohio State. I mentioned it earlier. He's an absolute beast. But yeah, CJ Stroud is, and I don't know, people are saying he's having a sophomore slump. I don't really know if he's having a sophomore slump. I just think that they're suffering from injuries and they don't look the same. So again, CJ Stroud, he'll get a pass on this game by many, even by me. CJ Stroud is an extremely great talent. I knew he was going to be great when he came to the NFL. So I believe that I will not be surprised. Let's look at what they have as far as the odds makers. The odds makers have the Chargers at a -3. They have the Texans at a +3. Now, you typically get a +2 at home, if I'm not mistaken. So, again, I think they're kind of seeing this the same way I'm seeing it. I think this is going to be a close game either way. It would not surprise me. Surprise me if the score is like 2017. 2017. And if the Texans, man, if they can turn over the Chargers, which the Chargers are very disciplined as far as that goes, I mean, if they can turn the Chargers over, they'll have a great chance of winning They have them winning by 1. My heart says the Texans. My head, though, says, man, I mean, this kind of equals out, but I'm just kind of like, man, the San Diego Chargers run game might be a little shady, but I think they got a few weapons. I think they may win when I'm talking with my head, but I'm telling you this. For me, they better win. I'm sorry, Justin Herbert gets talked about too much and has gotten paid, and no one complains about him getting paid, and he's done absolutely nothing. Well, let's see what they say this year. Gandalf Pipe said, is there a Deshaun Jackson type Dallas can get in the first round? I think the closest to that is the kid from Missouri, maybe, Gandalf. What's going on? Welcome to the channel today. Maybe him. But I think with the Cowboys, I don't really think they need the Deshaun Jackson. I'm going to be doing a video about this, matter of fact, later on tonight. I don't really think they need a Deshaun Jackson this year because they already got Deshaun Jackson on the team. His name is Kevontae Turpin. What the Cowboys need to do is solidify Kevontae Turpin. Cowboys need to go ahead and wrap Kevontae Turpin up. All pro, kick returner. Man, I got a whole video coming up today on Kevontae Turpin. Man, the video is going to be fire. But Gandalf, we already have Deshaun Jackson. We already have him. I'm telling y'all, this is a knock on Mike McCarthy. It was the same knock they had on him in Green Bay. He didn't know how to use the weapons. He doesn't know how to use the weapons. He doesn't. He didn't know how to use them in Green Bay. And folks don't like it, but I'm telling you the facts. To have one Super Bowl with Aaron bleeping Rodgers is insanity. It's literal insanity. And they have had absolute players around Aaron Rodgers. They've had players around Aaron Rodgers. And McCarthy could do nothing with them. I mean, they've had everything from tight ends to running backs to wide receivers, and McCarthy could do nothing with him. Man, I'm telling you, Kevontae Turpin should have been dominant this year. He should have been way more dominant on offense than he actually was. Kevontae Turpin, for me, if I'm the OC, Kevontae Turpin has at least 8 touchdowns. Minimum 8 touchdowns. Kevontae Turpin is so fast. Kevontae Turpin should be a minimum for you 800-yard receiver. He should be a minimum 800-yard receiver. McCarthy, I'm just telling y'all, McCarthy's not a good play caller. He's not a good play caller. And I'm wondering if the Cowboys, if Jerry and McCarthy are talking about his play calling duties, because I'm just playing devil's advocate here. But if I'm Mike McCarthy, play calling is what I do. Even though it ain't what he do. I would want to test the waters and see if there's somebody who would allow me to come and be the play caller. But if I'm the Dallas Cowboys, let me play the other side of the fence. There is no way I'm letting him get his hands back on play calling. Not me. You want to be a father figure around here? Go right ahead. But we're going to hire your replacement. The OC will be the next head coach. This is why they're paying him a measly $4 million. He's at the bottom of the ring as far as paying coaches. Man, I'm bringing in Ben Johnson. Forget it. I got a game plan. I'm bringing in Ben Johnson. So, let's move on to the next game today.
Yes! Here we go!
Let me tell y'all something. Wicked, I think I saw you in the chat. Oh, no, that's Marlon Brando. Okay, I thought it was Wicked. Let me tell y'all something. Marlon Brando, what's going on? He said both teams have good defenses. Yeah, they do. So it comes down to who's the better quarterback in both games today. Yeah, you know what? I think also it may come down to who can run the ball. I'll take Mixon over what the Chargers have today, Marlon Brando. I'll take Mixon over what they got in the backfield. We're gonna see. It's going to be a great game. Again, I'm not going to be surprised if it's 2017 If the Texans can turn over Herbert, they'll probably win. But if the Chargers can turn over C.J. Stroud, they'll probably win. And in the turnover battle, the San Diego Chargers are very disciplined. So we'll see what happens. Let me tell y'all something. If y'all think Justin Herbert has something to prove, Lamar Jackson cannot lose today. Lamar Jackson cannot lose today. Lamar Jackson cannot lose today. Let me say it again. Unanimous MVP, two-time MVP, should have been Dak Prescott's MVP. And so this year they had to rob Lamar Jackson of the MVP because his numbers this year were actually the MVP numbers. And then they're going to rob Lamar Jackson, and they're going to give it to Josh Allen. They're going to do to Lamar Jackson what they did to Dak Prescott. They're going to give it to Josh Allen. And because Josh Allen is having and I'll say, yeah, he's having an MVP candidate season. I don't think he's having the MVP season because to me, the MVP should actually be Joe Burrow. Now, it's a regular season award. Joe Burrow was actually able to drag the team that he has to a 9-8 record. I still wouldn't be mad if Joe Burrow won the MVP. They're not going to give it to him, though. They're going to give it to Josh Allen because his numbers, while they're not to me video game numbers, but because he's had less turnovers, he looks a lot better this year. So this is going to be the year they're going to give Josh Allen his MVP. Because if I'm not mistaken, was he not, second team All-Pro? First team All-Pro, I think, went to Lamar Jackson. Second team All-Pro, if I'm not mistaken, is Josh Allen. So I don't understand how they're going to give him second team All-Pro, but then give him the MVP. If I'm not mistaken, Josh Allen is, let's see. I think he is second team All-Pro this year. I saw the voting. Lamar Jackson beat out Josh Allen, and he's second team All-Pro. So, Josh Allen is second team All-Pro. So, it's going to be kind of funny that if you give Josh Allen second team All-Pro, but you give him the MVP, when you gave Dak Prescott second team All-Pro, but you gave Lamar Jackson the MVP. That's going to be strange to me. The NFL put themselves in this. They put themselves in this predicament. There is no way that he should have beat Dak Prescott last year based on the numbers and the performances. But they gave it to Lamar Jackson. And so this year again, they're going to probably give it to Josh Allen, even though Lamar Jackson's overall, his stats are better. His performances are better. But I'm saying all of that. I digress. Lamar Jackson has to win today. There's no more excuses. With everything I've said about Lamar Jackson, he has the same amount of playoff wins as Dak Prescott. The same amount of wins. And no one talks about it. He has the same amount of wins. But people are starting to say a few things. And not only that, they went and got him Derrick Henry. Do y'all know that I told y'all this before? This is what the Cowboys are going to have to improve. The Cowboys are going to have to get Dak Prescott a running game because everybody's doing it. You're not winning in these playoffs no more without a running game. In actuality, you never were winning without a running game. See, we were looking at Patrick Mahomes like, hey, man, no, even Patrick Mahomes, they went and got him a running game. They went and got him Pacheco. And Pacheco could have easily been given the MVP. I'm telling us Lamar Jackson better not lose. He better not lose because this is the very reason why they went and got him Derrick Henry. This is the very reason why. Because teams have a simple game plan for Lamar Jackson in the playoffs. Stop him from running the ball and he's an average quarterback. That's their sentiments. And he hasn't proven otherwise. He has not proven otherwise. And that don't mean that that doesn't mean that Lamar Jackson can't throw the football, because he can. He can drop some absolute dimes. But if you make him throw the whole game, you have a better chance of winning. Because he's going to throw you some interceptions. You have a better chance of winning. So teams bring an extra defensive back on defense. They contain him, and they either they're going to force him out of bounds, they're going to sack him, they're going to make him run backwards, and he's going to have to throw crazy passes. This is what teams do to Lamar Jackson. So what did the Baltimore Ravens do? So since you will stop him from running, we'll let Derrick Henry do the running. And I'm going to tell you this. I saw this with the Cowboys this year. It's hard to stop the quarterback and the running back. In our first outing against the Philadelphia Eagles, we were able to stop Saquon Barkley for 64 yards. But we couldn't stop Jalen Hurts. It's hard to stop both. It is going to be a tough task today for the Pittsburgh Steelers to stop both Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry. But I got a feeling, though. I have a feeling that the Pittsburgh Steelers are going to come and rise to the occasion on the Baltimore Ravens. I think they're going to rise to the occasion. I'm not worried about their last meeting. I believe that the Pittsburgh Steelers defensively are going to come to play. Now, the question is, I've already told y'all about the running game. You don't run the ball to have a dominant run game. You run the ball to dominate the game. So the question will be for the Pittsburgh Steelers is how long can they hold up? How long can they hold up of stopping Derrick Henry and Lamar Jackson from running the ball? But I do think, again, I think the Pittsburgh Steelers are going to do the same thing they did last year. I think they're going to try to let Lamar Jackson test the Pittsburgh Steelers through the air. Because everybody wants to prove that Lamar Jackson can throw the ball. Man, I'm sorry. If I'm Lamar Jackson, if I'm the Baltimore Ravens, I'm not trying to prove anything. Let Lamar Jackson be what he is and who he is. Let him be what he is and who he is. You let him go out there and go video game bonkers on the Pittsburgh Steelers if he can. You let him run, throw, rattle, roll, whatever you got to let him do. You let Lamar Jackson get loose today. But last year they came out stubbornly, we're going to prove that he's a throwing quarterback. Well, look where that got you. So this year they got Derrick Henry. Lamar Jackson cannot lose today. If Lamar Jackson loses today, oh man. I don't think he'll get quite the Dak Prescott treatment. Oh, but you better believe they are going to wear him out come Monday morning. They are going to wear him out because, one, he's too talented. Number two, he's got too much talent around him. He's got too much talent around him not to win. Not to win. When you look at this game, you think about this. So, the Baltimore Ravens score literally 30 points a game. They score 31 points per game. The Steelers score 22 points a game. And this is going to be their Achilles heel today. The Pittsburgh Steelers have got to keep this game close. Simply because the Baltimore Ravens defense is good. So they're going to have to find a way to keep this thing close and keep this thing in containment. Point differential, 13th versus 3rd. The Ravens are 3rd in point differential. Record against in close games, the Ravens. Now, this is another Achilles heel for the Baltimore Ravens. They're 5-5 in close games. But this hasn't been a trait for them just this season. The Baltimore Ravens always seem to give up leads. I mean, this has been for the last few seasons. If you will continue to stay persistent against the Baltimore Ravens, they give up games at the end. If you look at the game they played against the Cowboys this year, the Cowboys almost came back in the end. The Cowboys almost came back. Cincinnati Bengals almost came back on them. And even looking at this record, they're 5-5 in close games. If the Pittsburgh Steelers, if they can keep it close, they could possibly win. I want to see, in Russ, do they trust? If I'm Mike Tomlin, I am not letting Justin Fields sit on the bench today. I'm not doing it. Justin Fields is not sitting on the bench today. Justin Fields is going to be on the field today in some capacity. He's going to be a part of my running game. Russ is going to start as my quarterback, but you better believe I'm working Justin Fields in all kinds of ways. He is too fast. He's too athletic. He can throw the ball. I'm figuring out ways today to get Justin Fields involved. You're going to have to. Steelers got to put out all the stops to beat the Ravens. The Ravens are geared up to beat everybody in the AFC, but at the same time, they can lose to everybody in the AFC. That's the crazy part. That's the crazy part. Turnover differential, 10th versus 2nd. That goes to the Pittsburgh Steelers. Will not be surprised if they turn Lamar Jackson over today. I will not be surprised if you see a minimum of 2 turnovers by the Pittsburgh Steelers. Strip, sack, fumble, interception. I will not be surprised they get, if not one, both of those on Lamar Jackson today. Total penalties, the advantage goes to the Pittsburgh Steelers. They're a very disciplined team, of course, up under Mike Tomlin. Look at this. So they got the live odds has the Baltimore Ravens. Is that correct? They're 8.5-point underdogs? I don't know. Maybe I don't know how to read this because I can't see where they're having them as the underdogs. But I guess that's what that reads as. But if you look at this, everything goes toward the Baltimore Ravens. I mean, every category, passing efficiency, rushing efficiency, the Baltimore Ravens, of course it goes to the Baltimore Ravens. Pass efficiency, rushing efficiency, this goes to the Baltimore Ravens. I mean, everything points to the Baltimore Ravens winning this game. Everything points to the Baltimore Ravens. So maybe I'm reading that wrong. This is negative. Y'all help me out on this. These are betting odds. I'm not sure what that means, but for the most part, I would think that the advantage in this game would actually be going towards, no doubt in my mind, this is going towards the Baltimore Ravens. And so that's why for me, I mean, there is no way Lamar Jackson better lose this game today. Look at this. This is insane. Rushing versus stack box, rushing outside the tackles, rushing under center, overall rushing efficiency. This is their defense. 2-1-2-1. Look at their offense. 2-1-2. Every advantage is going towards the Ravens, both offensively and defensively. There is no way Lamar Jackson better lose this game. There is no way. There is no absolute way. And the Ravens, their running game is everything. And I'm sure that's what Pittsburgh is going to try to stop. Their running game is everything. But I'll tell you this. I believe Mike Tomlin and his team, they're gonna I don't know how long can they keep it close. because this running game for the Ravens, this running game for the Ravens is diabolical. To stop that run game for four quarters, I've only seen maybe 2 or 3 teams do it this season. Cincinnati did a number on them, and they cheated. They cheated Cincinnati in the second game. They did a number on them. Steelers have been awful on offense. Don't think they have a shot. Yeah, that's the problem, Ryan. It's their offense. Their defense will keep them in it. I just don't know if they can score points. This is one of the reasons why I'm saying I think Mike Tomlin needs to make sure today that Justin Fields gets involved in this thing. And if I'm Pittsburgh, I know how to beat a team like the Ravens. I just don't know if they can do it. You got to ground and pound. You have to ground and pound. That's why, for me, Justin Fields is going to get some drives in this game. You have to ground and pound. You got to control the clock. Don't give Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry opportunities on the field. Don't give them opportunities. Keep them off the field and try your best, and I think they're going to get an opportunity. Turn Lamar Jackson over. Jerry said it happened before, G. We saw it in the NBA where Marc Gasol got Defensive Player of the Year, being second team all defense. And I will not be surprised if they do it for Josh. Well, you know what, though, Jared? They're gonna do it to Lamar Jackson. Well, they've really painted themselves into a corner. How do you justify giving him the MVP? I mean, giving him how do you justify giving him the MVP and you gave Lamar Jackson first team All-Pro? Because that's another. I mean, you look at how they justified it with Dak Prescott. They gave Lamar Jackson first team All-Pro. So you could, we could argue, but we couldn't argue. I want to see what they do. I want to see what they do, Jared. Texans are also weak link in the Texans are also the weak link in the NFC. Yeah, the Texans, man, they have really had some things that have knocked them down this year. Josh Allen will still be the MVP. Man, I know. Man, but the thing is, a part of this is they want to give it to him. Part of this is they want to give it to him. This league has been so mad that Josh Allen can't win. This league has been upset that Josh Allen can't win. His first All-Pro. Dak Prescott got an All-Pro before he did. This league wants Josh Allen, for whatever reason, this league wants Josh Allen and Justin Herbert to be the face of the league. It wants them to. And both of them have done nothing but underachieve. It's all they've done. We talk Josh Allen, Justin Herbert. What have they done? What? Josh Allen's been to one AFC championship game. That's it. That's it. And when you're talking about a quarterback like him with the skill set that he has, and he's had teams around him, he's had players around him, just come up short. Turnovers and the like, he's just come up short. But again, this is one of those seasons. You wish the Cowboys were in this, because these quarterbacks who all got something to prove, the matchups are very favorable for them. Very favorable. Because they have the better team. Well, with the Chargers, I think it's going to be a defensive battle, but I think the Chargers offensively may have an advantage over the Houston Texans. So it's favorable for Justin Herbert. Now, when it comes to this game against the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Baltimore Ravens, I'm sorry. If Lamar Jackson loses this game today, it's a travesty. It's a travesty. This is the very reason you went and got Derrick Henry. This is the very reason why they went and got Derrick Henry. And if this don't work, then what will? I mean, what will? Lamar Jackson is literally, when you look at him, look at this. When you look at this offensively and defensively, Lamar Jackson, I love Lamar Jackson. He's out of excuses. He's out of excuses. He's absolutely he's out of excuses. They have a legitimate defense. A legitimate offense. He's out of excuses. Lamar Jackson has to win this game. Now, this game to me, my head says, I believe the Steelers will be able to keep this game somewhat close in the first half. My concern is, again, running games. They're not designed for you to dominate or have a dominant run game. The run game is designed so you will dominate the game. And so the question is for me is I think that they will stop Derrick Henry in the first half. But can you stop Derrick Henry and Lamar Jackson on the ground 4 straight quarters? I think they'll crack that wall. And I think the problem is going to be for the Steelers. They can't score points. Maybe they'll surprise me today. I don't see no more than 17 points out of the Steelers, 20 tops, unless they get turnovers. My head says the Baltimore Ravens will score 31 points on the Pittsburgh Steelers. My head says the Baltimore Ravens win this game 31-17. My head says that. But. My heart says that if the Pittsburgh Steelers can rise to the occasion some kind of way, get multiple turnovers in this game, and stop the run of the Baltimore Ravens the entire game, we could be looking at an upset. This is my heart. I doubt it. But we could be looking at an upset of somewhere around, again, maybe Pittsburgh, something like 2017. Because they would literally have to keep the Baltimore Ravens score down in order for them to even have an opportunity. Andre said Pittsburgh with the upset today. That's what I'm with my heart. I'm saying 2017 upset, but I don't think it's going to happen. With my head and looking at all of the stats, looking at all the facts, I believe it's the Baltimore Ravens 31-17. I believe it's the Baltimore Ravens 31-17. Roberto said, "Are you hearing this, Jerry?" Yeah. Gotta get Dak a run game. Gotta get him a power run game. Lamar Jackson can still lose. Ravens and Steelers games get I know, Jared. I know. But I'm telling you, Jared, Lamar can't lose. Lamar can't lose. Lamar Jackson loses today. He will not quite get the Dak Prescott treatment, but you better believe he will be destroyed. The defense is too good. The defense is too good. The weapons are too good on offense. He will literally get destroyed if they lose today. Ryan said, "I'm sorry, the Steelers just don't look right." No, they haven't. No, they don't. They don't look right. Marlon said Mike McCarthy on the Super Bowl, they had a bad run game. Yeah, but they had 4 super stud wide receivers. Yeah, I already know about that. They won because of the quarterback play. And I don't necessarily say it was the quarterback play. They had great wide receivers. They didn't have good wide receivers. They had great wide receivers. And, of course, they had a defense. So I'm not giving the Mike McCarthy excuse. No. Mike McCarthy, there's a reason why he's only won 1 Super Bowl. There's a reason why he's only won 1. It's an indictment on him to have Aaron Rodgers and only have 1 Super Bowl in 13 seasons with Green Bay. And the reason why they fired him, I'm telling you, the facts are the facts. People can argue it all they want to. I'm not letting a coach ride the Super Bowl. I mean, how many years, man? Dang, how many years do a coach get to ride the Super Bowl? I mean, we acting like Mike McCarthy won the Super Bowl in 2021, 2020, 2019, 2018. Come on, man, it's 2010. Stop it. Not caring nothing about this stuff with Mike McCarthy. I mean, this fan base is so fickle. I'm sorry. If Mike McCarthy is the best we can do in this league, we're done. We might as well go ahead and just phone it in. I digress. Jerry says if the Steelers win, it'll be a combination of Lamar. Yeah. choking again, and vintage playoff Russ coming back. Russ has a history stepping up in the playoffs. We're going to see. We're going to see. This defense is going to have to get at least, this defense will have to get a minimum of 2 turnovers in order for the Pittsburgh Steelers to win. But I'm not going to put it past them. I believe that Mike Tomlin, I believe he's going to come in with a plan. And I think he's going to look different against the Baltimore Ravens defensively than they did the last time. Because the key to this game is the Baltimore Ravens holding them down. Andre said Lamar Jackson will throw interceptions to the Pittsburgh Steelers. He always do. I'll tell you this, if he does, if it's interceptions, game over. Yeah, I'm with you on that, Jared. Nah, I'm serious. I'm not giving Mike McCarthy no credit. 2010, man, stop it. I'm tired of this stuff. It's stupid talk. This man 14 years out from a Super Bowl, and everybody keep talking about he has a Super Bowl win. I don't care he got a Super Bowl win in 2010. I don't care. He looks exactly how he looked in Green Bay. He looked exactly how he looked in Green Bay. All the same things, and the same reason they fired him, the same reason why the Cowboys can let him go if they want to. Samuel Jackson won't be able to help Lamar if he loses. Boy, you better say it, Freddie. What's going on, Freddie? You better say it. Crucify him if Lamar Jackson. Hey, what's going on, D-Block? Man, I'm telling you. Boy, this dude lose today, it's over. It's over. Man, I'm telling you, I hope Russell Wilson does have a great game today. He needs to. Yeah, he needs to, for sure. But I'm telling you, man, if he loses this game today, it's over. George Pickens man, you know what? George Pickens need to have a great game today. George Pickens be tripping, man. Ooh, yeah, I know. Andre, that's a blow right there. People do not realize how good Zay Flowers has been for the Baltimore Ravens this year. Yeah, man, that is a blow. Marlon Brando, I feel sorry for you, man. It's funny that you're saying that. In every one of these teams, every one of these top 6 teams in this playoff, they all have running backs and they all got great quarterbacks. Stop it. Stop it. It's crazy talk. All these quarterbacks, people can say anything they want to. All these quarterbacks in the top 6 are good. All of them. Lamar Jackson is a great quarterback. Now, I say if you take away his legs, he's average, but how do you take away his legs? I mean, it's what he is. It's a part of who he is. Josh Allen, got a run game, but he's a great quarterback. Patrick Mahomes, he's got a great running game. He's a great quarterback. Anybody knows? They didn't have him in anything this year as far as they weren't even thinking about Patrick Mahomes in any of these quarterback awards. Kansas City Chiefs have literally been winning with a team this year, which is great. It's exactly what Lamar Jackson wants. It's exactly what Patrick Mahomes wants. Because it's not sustainable to keep winning the way they've been winning. It's not sustainable. It's just not sustainable. Because you can't keep those weapons around that quarterback like that every single season. You have to. The easiest thing for a team to do, people don't realize it. The easiest way to change life for your team is a running game. It's the easiest way to change life for your team. It's the easiest way. Get a doggone running game. And if you got one wide receiver and a great running game, you can do something. Man, you got 2 wide receivers in a great running game, you're going to be absolutely dangerous. Reason why I keep trying to tell y'all, I'm not a Philadelphia Eagle fan, but I'm trying to tell y'all, man, I'm telling you, Jalen Hurts is going to be a problem for these teams in the NFL. In the NFC playoffs this year. It's going to be a problem. Andre Mosey, don't worry, they'll be in the playoffs next year. That schedule's going to be brutal. But if you look at that schedule, I've already been kind of analyzing it. There are 8 to 9 wins already built into that schedule. There are 8 to 9 wins built into that schedule. 8 to 9 wins built in that schedule. So all the Cowboys have to do is pull off 2 more. Cowboys get 10 wins during the playoffs, which I do think they get 10 wins next year. There is no doubt about it. They get 10 wins next year. Willie T, what's going on? He said Russell Wilson has been looking like when people He said, nope, Russell Wilson has been looking like what people were screaming, let Russell cook. Yeah, I'm telling you. Who knows, though? If they come in with a game plan, the thing about the playoffs is they're different. The playoffs are different because you don't actually get to look past the team you're playing. See, in the regular season, a lot of people don't realize teams look past teams sometimes. They got games circled on the schedule. They're about 3 games out. Okay, this game will be easy. I mean, they are literally looking ahead sometimes in the schedule, depending upon the game. They get a real tough game. No, it's this game. We got to make sure we win this one. But then there's other games you're like, this game ain't really that hard. We can look towards this game and this game. But in the playoffs, different. It's one and done. Now you get to put together a concentrated game plan to say, this is the game plan that beats this team. It's gonna be a good game today. I'm really excited for tonight's game. Kitty Boy, he says you opened my eyes about Jason Garrett and Mike McCarthy. Garrett could have won it all if it wasn't for Jerry Jones and injuries. Man, I'm telling you, appreciate you, Kitty Boy. I'm telling you, folks mad about the whole Jason Garrett thing I pointed out, but it's facts. When you look at both of them with Dak Prescott, Jason Garrett didn't look really too much different. He didn't look too much different. He got hampered by injuries too. He just didn't get the benefit of the doubt, in particular with the Tony Romo years. I mean, they literally went from the NFC, almost going to the NFC Championship game, went to the divisional round, and got knocked out by the catch. And Katie Boy, come back next season. 4-12? Yeah, Tony Romo was hurt for 12 games. He was hurt for 12 games. And Dez Bryant started dealing with a lot of injuries, and people don't even want to accept that. Dez started dealing with a lot of injuries down the stretch, too. And we got the same thing going on with the Dallas Cowboys. Jerry's going to have to fix this stuff, though, this coming year. He's going to have to fix it. He's going to have to do something different. Queen V, what's going on? Yeah, been over Mike. Man, sister, I'm telling you. I don't care what anyone. I'm over Mike. I'm tired. How long does a coach get to ride a Super Bowl? If Jimmy Johnson was in this league right now and Jimmy Johnson was losing, there is no way I'm letting Jimmy Johnson talking about, oh, yeah, but I won a Super Bowl in 92, 93. Man, it's 2024. What have you done for me lately, bro? I am not allowing somebody to talk about a Super Bowl from yesteryear. I don't care what anyone said. It's an indictment on Mike McCarthy. Who's going to tell me that Dak Prescott's better than Aaron Rodgers? Who's going to tell me that Dak Prescott is better than Aaron Rodgers? Because I love some Dak Prescott. I'm not going to tell you that. I am not going to tell you that Dak Prescott is better than Aaron Rodgers. I'm not going to tell you that. Aaron Rodgers is literally one of the best quarterbacks we've ever seen in this league. Hands down. And for Mike McCarthy to have Aaron Rodgers all those years, you won one Super Bowl, and you're talking about it seems like in Green Bay, he had some personnel control. See, James Jones, I was shocked, but James Jones flipped the script on him. James Jones flipped the script on Mike McCarthy. He said, because looking at the Dallas Cowboys, he said after Mike said what he said about control, he said, I now believe that Mike McCarthy does have control. He said, because there were times with the Green Bay Packers. This is James Jones. This is not me. James Jones says there was times that we would be asking for players, or the team would be asking for players, or they would recommend players to Mike McCarthy, and Mike McCarthy would turn those players down. See, this is why I'm not just blaming Jerry in this thing. James said it perfectly, and no one's acknowledging it. James Jones saying, when I look at the draft, when I look at these, the way this team, some of the players this team has gotten, the players they have not got, he said, when I look at all of these things and everything's going on with this team, well, if Mike said he's got some control, then we need to give him the Otis. We need to give him the blame. We need to give him the blame for some of the things that have happened this season. I do. I'm laughing at folk. I'm not giving him no slack. 3 12-win seasons in a row is exactly the problem. Don't win the big games. Don't win the big games. Don't beat the good teams. Someone said, well, that's Dak Prescott. No, it was the same thing with Aaron bleeping Rodgers. It was the same thing. One Super Bowl, it was the same exact thing. And somebody says, well, somebody dropped the onside. Well, have you not noticed this is stuff that happens to Mike McCarthy's teams? They're not very disciplined. That's the MO of his teams. I'm not making this up. Go back and look at the stats. Everything we've seen from Mike McCarthy is no different than what we've seen in Green Bay. Now, we're going to give him 13 seasons in Dallas, and we hit the lottery and we get one of these really good super teams. Well, yeah, we'll probably win one of those seasons. If you're going to give him 13 seasons, surely he's going to win a Super Bowl in one of them. Wouldn't you think? We're giving this man credit for one Super Bowl in 2010. Stop it. Stupid talk, man. It's plain stupid talk. Jared says, Willie T, Mike Tomlin has alluded to maybe having a short leash on Russ and going to Fields if there are issues because Russ has been garbage in the 4K blue streak. You know what? I'm just telling you, Jared, if it's me, if I'm Mike Tomlin, I'm working Justin Fields in. I'm not even going to have to worry about going to him. He's going to be a part of the game plan. If you want to ground and pound, you're going to have to let Justin Fields be a part of this game plan. Roberta said, my grandson will be heartbroken if the Ravens lose. Man, I tell you what, they better win, Roberta. More than your grandson going to be heartbroken. Lamar Jackson going to have to turn his TV off. Lamar lose today and Samuel will be thrown out. Him was like they're going out of style. Hey, you better believe it. You better believe it. Andre, Cowboys must go back to what they always, they got to go back to the running game. This is what everybody's doing. Everybody's doing it. Everybody's doing it. Leonard, what's going on? Too bad the Cowboys season's over. Yeah, it is. It is. And I'm telling you, man, the NFL, and I'm not saying, I don't know what they do, Brother Leonard, but they have got to find a way to get the Cowboys in these playoffs because the ratings are down. I'm interested to see what would the ratings look like in the playoffs this year. What would it look like? Andre, Mike McCarthy has never had a running back, so he thinks he can win with no running back, and that's his philosophy. Wait a minute, Andre. Hold on a second. Mike McCarthy has had running backs. Yes, he has. The problem is Mike McCarthy has refused to run those running backs. No, he's had some running backs. Hold on a second. Let me see if it'll pull us up. No, he's had some good to great running backs. Let me see. The one, y'all remember Eddie Lacy, who ate himself out of the league, but people were still tripping. He wouldn't hand the ball to Eddie Lacy. He had Amon Green. I'm not sure who the Ryan Grant kid is. But if you think about it, how much better are these running backs if Mike McCarthy runs them? Now, let me give you a prime example. Rico Dowdle. How long was I screaming that Rico Dowdle should have been the starter and getting the ball 30 times a game? How many weeks was I screaming it? And what happened when they finally started giving him the ball? 100-yard game, 100-yard game, 100-yard game. Rico Dowdle this season, I'm telling you, Mike McCarthy literally cheated Rico Dowdle out of an additional probably 400 to 500 yards and probably 5 or 6 touchdowns. It's not that Mike McCarthy has not had running backs. It's not that he has not had running backs. This dude don't like running the ball. Period. He don't like running the ball. Mike McCarthy, man, I'm telling you, Mike McCarthy is a trip. And he's had more running backs than that up under him also, Andre. He's had more running backs than that. For Mike McCarthy the West Coast offense is his running game. But it's not sustainable. Not in today's league. It's not sustainable. It's not sustainable. The cornerbacks are too big. The cornerbacks are too fast. The safeties are too athletic. The linebackers, they're too fast. They're too athletic. We got these new type of linebackers like the Ray Lewises of the world back in the day. The DeMarion Overshawns of today. Guys who look more like they could be a hybrid between a safety and a linebacker. The league is too fast today and too aggressive for the stale, as I call it, the stale as toast West Coast offense. It's trash. It's trash. It's absolute trash. And Mike McCarthy, believe me, don't let him fool you. A lot of folk don't understand. This man has had running backs. Not a running back. He's had running backs. And the question is, would these running backs be better if he gave them more opportunities? This was one of the knocks they had on him. They had on him in Green Bay. This is the knock they had on him in Green Bay. I'm telling you. This is one of the knocks. I would say I would go back. I just don't know if I want to go back. Like I said, I'm kind of over the Mike McCarthy thing. I mean, they're either going to hire him or they're not. I mean, I don't understand why people are all tripping, talking about, oh, they are not doing Mike McCarthy wrong. They are not doing Mike McCarthy wrong. Andre, also, let's not forget, he had Aaron Jones. Had Aaron Jones, Ty Montgomery. I'm telling you, man, Mike McCarthy has had running backs. Don't let him fool you. He's had running backs that were more than capable. More than capable. See, we keep giving them credit for 2010, but even James Jones will tell you, man, that wide receiver core was loaded. You'll never get a lot. Man, you will be hard-pressed to ever get another wide receiver core like he had in Green Bay. You're not getting that in Dallas. You are not getting that wide receiver core in Dallas. Jared said historically a running game being an indictment on the quarterback is just straight up false. It's not true. All the great quarterbacks have had run games. And you think about this. What would John Elway be without Terrell Davis? John Elway was a great Hall of Fame quarterback. It wasn't until he got Terrell Davis that he started winning Super Bowls. It took Terrell Davis for him to really get the Super Bowls. He needed a run game. And while there have been some anomalies, there's always anomalies. You know, a lot of people have to understand the exceptions are not the standards. They're not the rule. They're the exceptions. That's why we call them the exceptions. It's not saying that you can't have a quarterback that's absolutely so good that he throws the ball all over the place and wins games. You can't get a quarterback like that. It's absolutely possible. But they're the exceptions. They're not the norm. They're not the standard. They're not the rule. And we got to stop trying to make the rules by the exceptions. Willie T must be a no, man. No. He talks to Jalen Hurts. Hurts is still a running back playing quarterback. He might be, but I'm not talking about just Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts is not the issue, Willie T. Don't miss my point. But when I look at what he has around him, that's why I say that the Eagles are dangerous. It's not Jalen Hurts. It's what he has around him. Even down to the backup quarterbacks now we see. Even down to the backup quarterbacks. If Jalen Hurts went down, the Eagles could still win. The Eagles could still win down to the third string quarterback. I believe the Eagles could still win because they're constructed good. They're constructed good. It's not about just the Philadelphia Eagles. And I'm telling you, Willie T, you're not hearing me when I'm telling you, man, we got a vested interest in the Philadelphia Eagles winning. I know as Cowboy fans, we think we don't, but we do. We have a vested interest in the Eagles winning. You don't think Jerry has his eye on the Eagles too? Jerry and Steven have their eyes on the Eagles. And Jerry has mentioned as much because Jerry is saying they better hit it this year. I don't think that's the issue with Howard Roseman. He'll still figure out a way to do it. But I do understand what Jerry is saying because we all need to have our eyes on the Detroit Lions and the Philadelphia Eagles because they will prove our theory right. Everybody keeps saying Jalen Hurts is running back playing quarterback. Jared Goff ain't that good. Well, what are they saying about our quarterback? We're defending our quarterback, but what are they saying about our quarterback? But if we look at Jared Goff, we look at Jalen Hurts, they go up in this thing and wreck shop in the playoffs, and one of those two teams go to the Super Bowl, we're proven right. Put players around our quarterback. He's better than both of them. Give our quarterback the running game. Give our quarterback the 2 wide receivers. Give our running back. Go in the draft. We need a new tight end. I'm sorry. The Cowboys have got to stop holding on to these certain players. I'm over Jake Ferguson already. I'm over Ferguson. You want to keep him as the second tight end, but I'm over Ferguson as a starting tight end. Make a decision between him and Schoon. One of them got to go. Go in this doggone draft. There are going to be some great tight ends in here. We're watching good tight end play in these college playoffs. Man, go get another tight end. Stop playing. Stop playing. This is part 1. We'll be back tonight. I want to cover the first 2 games. We'll be back tonight. Y'all got in some got in some Dallas Cowboy talk. You hate on McCarthy. No, I'm just stating facts on Mike McCarthy. You can call it what you want to. I'm stating facts on Mike McCarthy, brother Willie T. Sean Payton, same thing. Same thing. Willie T. Same thing. How long we gonna let Sean Payton keep riding one Super Bowl too? Same thing. Now, we'll give Sean Payton a little bit of a. They cheated this man out of going to the Super Bowl one season. Y'all remember that season when they allowed the Rams? They allowed the Rams cornerback to maul one of the receivers for the Saints. Nah, they cheated him. That team was good enough, and I think that team goes to the Super Bowl. But they cheated them. It was against the Rams. I think they wanted the Rams to go to the Super Bowl that year, and the refs made a terrible call. And remember, this is why they put instant replay in for pass interference, and then they went away from it. That's the Sean Payton rule, because they couldn't challenge that blatant pass interference. It was terrible. They cheated Sean Payton. He's better than Payton, but Sean Payton's better than Mike McCarthy as a play caller. 10 times better than Mike McCarthy. 10 times better. Mike Tomlin is one of those coaches that I think has been very good, but I think he needs to they either need to once and for all get him the players that he needs, or I believe he needs to move on from the Pittsburgh Steelers. He needs to go to a team that will give him players. Because Mike Tomlin is a heck of a coach. He's a leader of men. He's a motivator of men. Problem is with him, he hasn't had a quarterback since, let's just be honest. He hasn't had a quarterback since Big Ben Roethlisberger. He has not had a quarterback. So until he gets a quarterback, until they start getting him some players, Mike Tomlin's a great coach, but he ain't going to win. He's not going to win. He's not going to win with Pittsburgh unless they give him more. Nah, don't get me wrong. I've already told you, Willie T, I like Mike McCarthy as a man, but I'm sorry. As a coach, even when the Cowboys got him, Willie T, I wish I'd have had the channel then. You would have saw my consistency. I didn't want the Cowboys to get Mike McCarthy. I felt the same way then. There's a reason why he got, He got ran out of Green Bay, man. He got ran out of Green Bay, Willie T. He wasn't good. He was terrible towards the end. No thank you for me on Mike. Hey, I'm with you, Kevin. Let the Bears have him. Force Jerry's hand to make a change, man. What's going on, D-Rail Carter? We about to get out of here. We're going to be back tonight. Rodgers had above average wide receivers, man. Let me tell you something, Freddie. That 2010 team, folk don't realize it, man. Them jokers were loaded. They were loaded wide receivers, man. They were. Freddie says, Willie T says, players can ask for players, but Ted Thompson was the guy in Green Bay who bought players. Well, Willie T, you got to argue with James Jones on that because James Jones said that Mike McCarthy absolutely had say-so in those players. James Jones said it. And James Jones said it, not me. James Jones said it, and I think he knows better than me and you both. James Jones said that Mike McCarthy absolutely balked on players. James Jones said it, not me. He said he balked on players that could have made the team better. I don't see why he would lie as much as he's been a Mike McCarthy apologist. But he kind of changed his tune when Mike started talking about he had control. He did. Roberto, yes, you must have a running game. Unless you're going to have wide receivers, and you think about, people do not realize, unless you're going to have like top tier wide receiver tight end, it's an anomaly to win like that. Game Bomber said McCarthy only had Ahman Green his first season. The Packers coach, Green Bay left for Houston. It doesn't matter. You can tell me all you want to who he had, but he's had running backs. I just gave you the history. He's had running backs. He's had running backs, man. He has. I appreciate your Game Bomber. Yeah, he's had running backs. He won't run. He don't like running the ball. You can get this man Emmitt Smith in his prime, and Jerry Jones literally had to come out of the booth and make him run the ball. Mike don't like to run. That West Coast, it stinks. It absolutely stinks. Well, we about to get off here, guys. We're going to be back tonight. Let me read a couple more. Bad McCarthy never, my bad, Mike McCarthy never had Green. He left the Packers in 2007. Yeah, but McCarthy's had them. He's had runners. He's had runners, man. He just won't run them. He won't. DC, what's going on? Somewhere in the chat, I don't see you. Who was a quarterback in Green Bay, and what did those quarterbacks like to do? They threw the ball a lot. Well, I'll tell you this. As it pertains to Mike McCarthy, I'm not giving him no breaks. Sean Payton, nor Tomlin. Let me tell you something. Y'all might not realize it. There are people that are going to make this same argument. Aaron Rodgers is the first ballot Hall of Famer. He's just that doggone good. He's that doggone good. And for Mike McCarthy to have Aaron Rodgers, I don't care what anyone says, it's an indictment. It's an indictment. What linebackers in this league is like Ray Lewis? No. I'm saying with the way linebackers are today in these kind of smaller linebackers like Ray Lewis. But I think Demarion Overshown is on his way. I think Overshown is on his way to being like a Ray Lewis type of linebacker. Man, Overshown is nice, man. He is nice. Nah, I'm not hating on Mike McCarthy, man. It just is what it is with him. It is. Bring Rico back and pair him up. Yeah. Because the Cowboys need a home run hitting running back. Rico isn't that type of running back, but he is the running back we already know now. He can get you 10, 15-yard burst. He can get you 5 and 6. Rico will be he will be great with a 1-2 punch. Okay, you live in Cali. Okay. Yes, sir. Praying for you, my brother. Hope they get those fires under control. Willie T, you got to explain to me how they doing him wrong. How are they doing Mike McCarthy wrong? The reality is this simple, Willie T. I know people don't like this, but let me give you the cold hard facts. Is Mike McCarthy under contract or not? Let's stop the music. Is Mike McCarthy under contract or not, Willie T? Is he under contract or not? Yes, he's under contract. The Cowboys have the right to not allow Mike McCarthy to talk to anyone until after the 14th. Anybody can call this anything they want to, but the Cowboys are genius in this move. They're genius in this move. Why are you going to let Mike McCarthy go talk to any other team so he can come back to you talking about, hey, man, hey, this is what this team said they're going to give me. This is what this team said they're going to give me. This. No, you don't give him that option. You let this go until Tuesday. And I said this before. Why is everybody in a rush? What difference does it make if you're waiting until Tuesday the 14th? We're not talking about until February 14th, Valentine's Day. We're talking until Tuesday the 14th. They're not doing Mike McCarthy wrong. This is the media again, as it pertains to the Dallas Cowboys. Tell me where they're doing him wrong. Oh, okay, because he's under contract and you won't let him go talk to another team while he's under contract with you. Mike McCarthy is going to have plenty of time to talk to other teams. Do we not realize that even other teams, so has any other teams hired a coach yet? Last I checked, Panthers hadn't hired a coach. The Bears haven't hired a coach. Have the Jets hired a coach, anybody? Has the Bears hired a coach? Has any of these teams that need coaches, have they hired coaches? No, simply because even them, they're going to be waiting until the playoffs end because they want to get full talks to some of these coaches. As these coaches get further, there'll be people that'll be wanting to talk to the Ben Johnson, to Aaron Glenn. They'll be wanting to talk to these guys. So only in Dallas are we saying this stuff. Why do we need to hire Mike McCarthy before Tuesday? No, I said it. I say it again. No, the Dallas Cowboys and Mike McCarthy actually need to be sitting down and discussing whether or not they want to continue this relationship. They do. They need to be sitting down talking about this. Because if Mike McCarthy don't like the way Jerry does things, what's the point in even talking about a contract if you're not going to talk about, Jerry, I don't like the way you do things? And what's the point in Jerry Jones talking to Mike McCarthy about a contract if he can't tell him, which I'm hoping he's telling him, hey, Mike, I tell you what, man, we do want to bring you back, but we didn't like this. We hate your Stellar's toast, West Coast. We want you to go back to the Texas toast, the Texas Coast offense. Are you willing to do that? And I mean consistently. And I wouldn't trust Mike McCarthy to do it. I would not trust him. He's shown all season long he'll do something for a moment, but he goes back to what he wants to do. No. If I'm Jerry Jones, we're going to get all this out of the way. You're going to know if you want to be here by the 14th, and we're going to know if we want you to be here by the 14th. This isn't about how many games Mike McCarthy has won. This is no longer about that. Everybody knows this man's resume. This is fundamentally about the philosophy of both sides. Are we going to compromise, or are both of us going to say no, can do? We can't go any further. I don't understand. How are they doing Mike McCarthy wrong if he's under contract? Now, if I'm Mike McCarthy, I'll be devil's advocate. I've already said it. If I'm Mike McCarthy, when I walk away on Tuesday, if I don't have a deal, I'm done. I'm actually done. Why? Because for me, if you don't know me by now, you ain't gonna never know me. And you either gonna take me or leave me. I'm not gonna let you change me. And I'm sure the Joneses, if they're smart, they're trying to change. They're trying to change Mike McCarthy. Because I've been thinking about this the whole time. Why would I, if I'm Mike McCarthy, if I'm a play calling coach, why would I give up play calling as a coach? Especially if there are teams that are willing to hire me as a play caller. Why would I do that? Why would I stay with the Cowboys and not call plays? Why would I do that? But if I'm the Cowboys, no more stale toast. We're not letting you call plays anymore. We're not letting you do it. So something's got to give. And if I'm the Cowboys, what is the reason to rush? What's the reason to rush? We're talking to January the 14th. What does that change for the Cowboys? Everybody's they need to hurry up and do it, man, so they can go ahead and get started. Man, you're talking about January the 14th. And the Cowboys are still going to be waiting, because if they even want an opportunity to interview some of these coaches in the playoffs, guess what? You got to wait. You got to wait, see who loses, see who wins. And if who you want is still winning, hey, you got to be patient. So the Cowboys might not hire a coach. If they don't hire Mike McCarthy, the Cowboys might not hire a coach until mid-February. But at the end of the day, this is actually, we don't realize it. This is actually crazy talk. So you're doing what's within your right as a team to stop a coach from talking to other teams and bringing from them what they're going to do for him so he can get leverage on you when it's your job as the team to actually get leverage on him. See, y'all don't understand. Some of us don't understand. This ain't about being fair. Fair is where you go and ride the Ferris wheel. Fair is where you go eat corny dogs. Fair is where you go get funnel cakes and cotton candy. But when we're talking about these games, these careers, it's not about being fair. It's about who can get the best deal for themselves. Bottom line. I mean, Micah Parsons is doing something that's totally insane to me. Putting his trust into Joneses. It's insane to me. It's insane to me. Calling Jerry Uncle Jerry. It's insane to me. This isn't about being fair. When you sign contracts, I'm sorry, it is what it is. And especially when you're talking about coaches. Because if Jerry Jones, and this is one of the risks they're taking with Mike McCarthy, if they say, Mike McCarthy, we'll let you do this, but you can't run the West Coast offense. And then he comes back and runs the West Coast offense. So guess what they have? The only option they have to do is what? Fire him? Do you know they still have to pay him? Coaches get to sit at home. Coaches get fired. They're not like players. Players get cut. A lot of money sometimes is lost. Not coaches. Coaches get fired. They get to sit at home and still make their money as a coach. And this is one thing that Jerry Jones is trying to avoid. So for me, I'm sorry. I do not understand us as Dallas Cowboy fans. If Mike McCarthy is the best we can do, we're done. Period. We're done in the story. Kitty Boy said we couldn't win Dan Marino couldn't win a Super Bowl because he never had a running back. I bet he wish he did now. Andre said we had 3 wide receivers, Cooper, Lamb, and Gallup in 2021. We need a running back and 2 more wide receivers for sure. I would love, you know what, right now they're talking about Amari Cooper again. They're talking about Amari Cooper coming back to the Cowboys. I would love to see it. Amari Cooper with CeeDee Lamb now? Not the CeeDee Lamb as a rookie, but the CeeDee Lamb now, man, I'd love to see it. No Cap says he thinks Jordan Love. No, he's not. No. I'm sorry, No Cap, but the Philadelphia Eagles defense is going to dominate Jordan Love. Book it. It's a wrap. They're not beating Philly. Loss said the way our defense is built, we need a good running game. Exactly. So that the defense can pin their ears back and do what they do. That's it, because they're built to run. Currently constructed, our defense is built to rush the passer. And it's going to be the same thing with Abdul. Willie T said if Jalen Hurts goes down early this weekend during the game, the Eagles will lose. I think they can still win. I do. I think they can still win. They beat the brakes off of us with Kenny Pickett and the McKee kid. They beat the brakes off us, Willie T. No, they can win the game. They can win without Jalen Hurts. They can win without Jalen Hurts. Philly and Detroit just making the Super Bowl ain't good enough. They got to win it. That too, Freddie. We got a vested interest in this, and we don't even understand it. Why wouldn't we get rid of Ferguson? This is the problem. Willie T, what is Ferguson did that would make us want to hold on to him? So, again, you telling me we can't get a better tight end than Ferguson? We cannot get a better tight end than Ferguson. Willie T, I'm sorry. There are too many good tight ends available. There will be tight ends in this draft that will be better than Ferguson. We got to stop holding on to players and keep hoping they're going to turn out. Cowboys will probably keep him one more year, but I'm not keeping him beyond one more year. Cowboys don't have the time to be any longer saying this player and that player, they're gonna develop, and then they don't develop. Ferguson's regression has been insane. You said y'all on the lockdown, okay? Yeah, we definitely will for sure. Yes, that's it. Yeah, that's it. The wide receiver, yeah, god awful mess. It's insane. And it looks like they went away from that rule. It's like they went away from it. Yeah, you know what? But I still say Tomlin is still a better coach than Mike McCarthy. I've already mentioned the stuff about him. I think he hasn't had a quarterback since being Roethlisberger. Not to mention, they've ran into some juggernaut teams in the AFC. I mean, man, they ran into some juggernaut teams in the AFC. I mean, it just is what it is with them. They've ran into some juggernaut teams. But I would still take Mike Tomlin over. I would take Mike Tomlin over Mike McCarthy any day of the week. I don't care what you're telling me. And I'll take Mike McCarthy I would even take Mike Tomlin over Sean Payton. I would. Jared Thomas, appreciate you. Tom Brady, Corey Dillon, Peyton Manning, Edgerrin James, Drew Brees, Alvin Kamara, Darren Sproles. Yep, Ben Roethlisberger, Jerome Bettis, Le'Veon Bell, Phillip Rivers, Darren Sproles. Yep. You tore it up right there, Jared. Straight facts. Straight facts, man. Yeah, Freddie, yep, I'm with you. Yeah, he didn't want no running back. He wanted to be the star of the show. He did. Nah, I don't believe they get him whatever he wants because he hadn't had a quarterback. So they hadn't got him what he wanted. No cap. Tight end Tyler Warren, running back Caleb Wilson, wide receiver Tex Johnson. Their first 3 picks Cowboys should take. Trust me, they will go to the NFC Championship. Yeah, I'm telling you, man, the Cowboys, we got to stop trying to bet on this thing with Ferguson, man. I'm not doing it no more. No. Okay, he had a good team, Willie T, but why hasn't he won since then? I'm not letting the coach ride a Super Bowl from 2010. Just not doing it. Oh yeah, he don't like to run the ball. Nah, he don't. Well, I say this though, Willie T. James Jones apologized, even though I don't like the apology. But James Jones actually said, unless it was torn off the bone, then he recanted what he said. He apologized. But no. He has been the biggest Mike McCarthy apologist I've seen on television. And James Jones, when he heard what Mike McCarthy said, nope. James Jones said, nope. Nope. No way. I like Demo, but he's not a downhill thumper. Don't fool yourself. I think he's going to be all right, though. Yeah, his contract expires the 14th. So why should he talk to somebody? Why? It's their right to do it. Yes, Freddie, it's done all over the league every year. People make a big deal out of it because I would not let him do it. I would not let him do it. It's their right to not let him talk to somebody. Why? Why am I going to let this dude come back to me saying, hey, man, this is what they said they're going to give me? I said this last week. No, I'm not giving Mike McCarthy that leverage. I'm not giving Mike McCarthy that leverage. When we let you walk out the door on the 14th, if we don't sign you, we don't want you to come back. And if I'm Mike McCarthy, I walk out the door on the 14th, I'm not coming back. I think they both should say that. I mean, I don't understand people getting mad talking about because they just now starting to go. What are you talking about? This is stupid talk, man. Hey, Freddie, if they're smart, they'll do it. Why am I going to let you talk to my coach? It's called a negotiation for a reason. Can I negotiate with him first? Can I negotiate with him first? And if the negotiations don't go right, you ain't even got to worry about it because he ain't coming back here. He ain't coming back here. It don't make sense. Willie T, they don't have to do this though. They have him under contract, bro. Do you not understand? This is the contract. And he ain't the only yes man. If they want a yes man, Willie T, do you know they could get another yes man? They can get Kellen Moore. You don't think Kellen Moore will come here and be a yes man for Jerry? You don't think Jason Witten would come here and be a yes man for Jerry? There are other coaches that would literally come here and be a yes man for Jerry. This is one of the reasons why I don't want this guy, people talking about Steve Sarkisian. Stop it. Stop it. Gee, it takes about 3 years. Nah, I can't do it. Can't do it. Can't do it. I'm not mad if they keep Ferguson, but for me, this is the last season because this was actually supposed to be the season for Ferguson. This was supposed to be Ferguson's season. They were talking about Ferguson was going to be the next Travis Kelce. Please. Hadn't seen it. Have not seen it. Have not seen it. No. Ferguson ain't showing no signs at this point. Maybe when Dak comes back this season, maybe we'll see something different. But Ferguson is showing no signs of being the next Travis Kelce. Not showing it. But I appreciate all of y'all, man. Let's go watch these playoff games. And I'll be back tonight for the late show. And we'll talk about these 2 games. And then we'll also talk about the next 4 games coming up on, well, the 3 games coming up on Sunday. And we'll talk about the Monday game on Monday. So, until the next time, let's talk Cowboys. We talk facts. Peace.